I'm going to do uh, a really quick look at the retrogrades coming up here. We do have a series of retrogrades that are going to start Thanksgiving. And I've basically been telling folks Thanksgiving to Easter of next year, one of the three key personal planets will be retrograde. We're going to start with Mercury, which we all are familiar with Mercury retrograde, and we kind of have a sense of what that suggests. But we will, the first week of December, have Mercury and Mars retrograde. It's almost like one planet will pass the baton to the next planet until we get to, when we're talking about Mercury, Mars, and Venus, until we get almost to Easter, I believe. So the first way to prepare is just to know when this is. So November 25th to December 15th, Mercury is going to retrograde in Sagittarius. And then from December 6th to February 3rd, Mars is going to retrograde first in Leo and then into Cancer. And then March is going to be very interesting. We're going to have, for the first 2 weeks, Venus and Mercury retrograde. We will also have 2 eclipses in March. We will also have the ingress of Neptune into 0 degrees Aries. So March will be interesting, and we'll be unpacking all of that as we get there in the club. And then Mercury will be, Venus basically like passes the baton to Mercury. Venus and Mercury are going to retrograde in March in the sign of Aries and then into Pisces. I think Venus just goes retrograde in Pisces. No, actually, I think they both do. Venus and Mercury go from Aries to Pisces retrograde and then back. So just knowing these dates is, the first part of being prepared. We're already in the retrograde shadow. If you are an astrologer who considers the shadow, I do. So, since October, Mars has been in its retrograde shadow. So a lot of the things that are coming up or came up in October and even in this first in November are things in the Leo part of your life and in the Cancer part of your life are going to have to be reassessed and revisited once we get into December and January and February. So just knowing that, being flexible is going to be a thing. Mercury is already in its retrograde shadow. It will retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, November 25th. So, things that have come up in November, early November, in the Sagittarius part of your life, we will be deepening an understanding of and asking and answering new questions around into the first couple days of January. The Venus and Mercury, those are, really more February kinds of things coming up that we'll have to, in February, that we will then have to revisit when we're talking about the Aries Pisces part of our lives into mid-May, because Venus will be retrograde and in that shadow period well into May. Okay. So these are the dates that you're going to have Mercury and Mars retrograde from December 6th to December 15th. And they are going to be activating the Leo and the Sagittarius parts of your charts. So Mercury will be activating Sagittarius by the Mercury retrograde, and Mars will be activating the Leo part during its retrograde in March, that March 15 to April 7th. That's Mercury and Venus activating the Aries Pisces parts. So just knowing these dates is the first part of it. And understanding that, thinking about the Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Aries, Pisces. Okay, these are the parts of your chart that are going to be activated by retrogrades during this period. And it's a process of starting and stopping, a process of revising and editing in those areas, pivoting and then pivoting again. So understanding that the next few months, if you have strong points or planets in any of these signs, you're going to need to be more forgiving about life and probably other people. I have expect delays. It's a long time, but isn't that life too? Like, aren't we always best to just kind of be patient, be forgiving? I have Thanksgiving and Easter because these are, major holidays and it makes it easy to remember. If you just kind of go into a space of being more patient with people in life in general, understanding that what might look like it's going in this direction in the beginning is going to go here and here. So, trying to withhold judgment about what is unfolding, because we really aren't going to have all the information in, these periods of time. And, there's other things that are complicating this because of the ingress of Neptune into a new place, followed very closely by Saturn a couple months later, but that's for a whole other talk. So I'm saying, book refundable tickets. If you're planning holiday travel, make sure that you are getting the opportunity to make mistakes and not cost you too much. And I have get it in writing. This is always kind of a good idea, especially when Mercury is retrograde, because there's tend to be more misunderstandings. There tend to be more missed pieces of information that get dropped in unexpectedly and change the course of an agreement. And so that's just, and that's a good practice in anyway. Now, the one thing I do like about retrogrades is it gives us a chance to dig deeper into that area of life where the retrograde is taking place. It's a good opportunity to experiment within reason, asking yourself new questions, getting more creative about the answers. I like to use retrogrades as a time of more introspection in whatever area of life it's bringing up, more investigation, more being more observant. It's just a good idea to slow it all down in that place in the life to, generally just go more slowly and take things as they come, rather than, launching forward. It's a good time to get organized. When we have retrogrades, they help us see what we don't need anymore. It gives us a chance to get rid of things, belief systems, ideas, to change our minds about whatever it is pulling forward in your chart. So usually this is a time to, go through and assess things in your life and figure out what works, what doesn't, make different plans, organize your mindset, organize your physical space. And we'll talk more specifically when we get into those times of year, but these are general things to think about with the retrograde. And I have be patient with your partners. It's especially when we're talking about Venus, when that retrogrades, it can be, the archetype of relationships comes more forward in our experience. And so misunderstandings or pulling focus to the way that we are languaging our reality and how that might differ from a partner's reality. So you want to just be more, again, forgiving, more patient with the people in your life. And I have keep your receipts. It's not uncommon to have Mercury retrograde during the holiday season, and it's not uncommon to have it retrograde on Black Friday. But when it does land on a day when you're buying a lot of stuff, it's a great idea to just keep your receipts, because usually Mercury is a planet that is involved with trade and spending money and buying and selling things. And, it tends to create a little bit more wonkiness in the technology. Anything you're buying that has technological pieces and parts, or that is a complicated gift, there's more of a chance of it going sideways, either being not functioning properly or getting lost in the mail or things like that. Or you order this color, you get this color. So just something to keep in mind. And then how to prepare, I think, let me see. I think that was it. Yeah, I was just going to do a really quick talk. Basically, these are just, basic ways to prepare yourself for the retrogrades. Knowing this is on the horizon, it could give you a little bit more forewarning and allow you to adjust expectations. That's the main thing, is if we're kind of expecting things to go a little bit slower and not work exactly as we expect them to, when we miss a plane, book the wrong flight, lose our phone, we're just kind of like, okay, you know what? This is my invitation to slow down, to take a little bit of a closer look at my way I'm managing my days. And I have a whole talk that I can send you all a link to on how to work with Mercury retrograde in a way that feels more, it's more of like a holistic way of dealing with Mercury retrograde, rather than just being like, oh, everything sucks, using Mercury retrograde as a way to alchemize some part of your life, rather than just blame it for all the things that aren't working for you. So, as you know, this is the last meeting of the year. This is our 8th meeting, and we will reconvene January 19th. I'm going to give a talk about the year ahead on that meeting. We are looking at, folks interested in talking. I know I've talked to some of you about that. If you have an idea for a talk, please email me and let me know. What else did I want to say? And I really appreciate all of you supporting this club. It's been a really fun experiment, and I feel like it's continuing to grow and deepen. And we hope to create more opportunities and more time in each meeting for us to kind of just chit chat and hang. Thank you so much.